It's time now for the latest in local news. In the news, we begin with the Jesup Wayne County Tactical Narcotics Team, which in the past month has made several large drug busts and arrests. The latest occurred June 6th as a search warrant was executed at 743 Sierra Lane after a week-long investigation involving a subject identified as Daryl Kicklighter, who was the Sheriff's Department, Police Department says was selling narcotics in Wayne County. Prior to the execution of the search warrant, a traffic stop was initiated by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office patrol deputies that resulted in the seizure of a quantity of methamphetamine and marijuana in a drug called Molly. Investigators then executed a search warrant on the residence where a quantity of Molly and marijuana was seized and recovered by law enforcement. Following, people have been arrested and facing charges of sale of meth and possession of drugs with intent to distribute. The people arrested: 53-year-old Daryl Kicklighter, 50-year-old Othea Smith, 39-year-old Maria Linda Flanagan, 57-year-old Lisa Harrelson, and 21-year-old Hannah Cortez, all from the city of Jesup. Sheriff Chuck Mosley and Jesup Police Chief Perry Morgan state the investigation is ongoing, could lead to more arrests and further charges. Sheriff and the Jesup Police Chief giving a lot of credit to the narcotics team, which continues to work in a joint effort between the Police Department and the Sheriff's Department. They say they're making an impact getting dangerous drugs off the streets of Jesup and Wayne County. Both Sheriff Chuck Mosley and Police Chief Perry Morgan encourage anyone with information pertaining to this case or any illegal drug or criminal activity to simply contact the Sheriff's Department at 912-427-5970 or the Jesup PD at 912-427-1300. Once again, this marks the third major drug bust in less than a month by the Jesup Wayne County Tactical Narcotics Team. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Other news, both the Wayne County Commission and the City of Jesup Commission held their regular monthly meetings this week as we've entered the month of June. Still no word on when the City of Jesup Commission will meet to once again discuss their upcoming budget proposal, which was put on hold Tuesday night as the Commission could not get a necessary votes to pass the proposed budget, which they hope to have passed by the end of this month. At the end of the meeting, they discussed what they need to come up with, or they discussed they need to come up with a compromise and get the budget passed. Currently, the proposed budget includes a 2.5% increase in salaries for city employees, plus a cost of living raise, and an additional $1 per hour for all city employees in all departments. Commissioner Tim Cockfield wanted an additional $1 for just the city police officers and firefighters, stating that the purpose was to hopefully retain those employees who the city says is losing every day to other surrounding departments who are paying more money. Jesup Police Chief Perry Morgan requested an additional $2 per hour for the officers when the budget negotiations began, but the city settled for an additional $1 just for police and firefighters until the May 25th work session, when Commissioner Stanley Todd said he felt the city should give the additional $1 to all city employees, not just the police and firefighters. That motion passed on a 4-3 vote, with Mayor Ralph Hickox having to cast the deciding yes vote. After that, Commissioner Tim Cockfield motioned to give the officers $2 additional, and that motion failed 4-3, with again the Mayor of Jesup having to cast a decisive vote, and this vote was no. Commissioner Cockfield's motion failed 4-3. Cockfield contends that giving all city employees the additional $1 will greatly impact the city's budget over the next several years. As he says, once the raise is given, it's permanent, and Cockfield says in 3 years you're talking about $1 million impact to the city's budget. Once again, the current proposal is to give all the employees the additional $1, and on Tuesday night with just a 3-2 vote, it did not pass, and the suggestion was to have yet another budget work session. Again, as of today, no work session is planned. Again, we'll continue to follow the story as it develops. The Wayne County Commissioners met for their monthly meeting on Monday. Commission, on the request of their county administrator, Paul Andrade, decided that this SPLOST referendum before the Wayne County voters will not take place this November, but rather March of 2024. Current SPLOST does not run out until the end of June of 2024. Andrade says he'd like to have more time to submit a plan and a resolution to the commission around December after negotiations with the cities of Jesup and Scriven take place. Andrade says the decision about what capital project the county wants has to be decided. He says, in his opinion, priority number one is securing the courthouse. The Board of Commissioners agreed, but stated emphatically they want to make it clear that they're in favor of securing a courthouse, but not in favor of a $42 million courthouse complex that has been discussed in the past. Once again, the SPLOST referendum was either going to be this November or March of next year, and newly appointed County Administrator Paul Andrade says November just isn't enough time to come up with a plan. Again, negotiations need to take place between the governing bodies of Wayne County and the cities of Jesup and Scriven. None of those have taken place at this time. Commissioner Boot Thomas already advocating that the county get a bigger piece of the pie when the SPLOST is passed. He says in the past, the city or government agency that needed that money more got more piece of the pie. He says years ago, City of Jesup needed a new water and sewer treatment plant, and they received more SPLOST funding because they had a need. Thomas says the courthouse security is a big need for everyone in the county. He says the cities of Jesup, Odom, and Scriven will reciprocate and give more funding this time around to the county. And we'll continue to follow the story as it develops. Also on that March ballot will be the county's proposal for term limits. Once again, the SPLOST vote now set for next year, March of 2024. Really nice story came from the county commissioners meeting Monday, as the county will recognize 3 men who have since passed away but dedicated hours and hours of their time in umpiring recreation baseball and softball games in Wayne County. 3 fields at the ballpark will be named in their honor. Again, honor and memory of Jimmy Martin, Jimmy Peak, and Jimmy Overstreet. Rec Director Lamar Eccles Monday night said they'll order the signs, notify the families, and set a dedication ceremony at the ballpark. Once those dates are set, we'll pass that information along. But again, a nice gesture by the county to recognize and honor the memory and service of 3 men, Jimmy Martin, Jimmy Peak, and Jimmy Overstreet. Again, that approved on a unanimous vote Monday night at the county commissioners meeting. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news: Jesup City Commissioners looking to appoint their next commissioner representing District 5, but they need the residents' help. Commission Tuesday night at the council meeting learned that they can appoint someone to fill that vacancy, again, fill the term of Commissioner Ray House, who passed away. They have 45 days to do so. If they don't appoint someone in 45 days, City Attorney Michael Connor states that Georgia law says the governor will make that appointment if the 45 days expire. The city asked that any resident in District 5 who's interested in serving on the city council to send a letter of interest to the city manager, Rose Marcus. They state they'll take those letters up to 2 weeks before making an appointment. Again, the commissioner is looking to make an appointment from the list of those who require and state they're interested in serving in District 5. Again, the person must live in the district. They must also have lived in Wayne County for at least 1 year and be a law-abiding citizen. Again, those are the requirements. And if you're interested in serving on the City Council District 5, again, they ask that you send a letter to City Manager Rose Marcus. And finally, in the news, don't forget the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce gearing up for their big legacy dinner. It's set for Thursday, June 29th at 7 p.m. at the Pine Forest Country Club. Tickets are on sale for members $75, non-members $100. Everyone's invited. Again, if you need a ticket or a reservation, contact the chamber, the number 912-427-2028. The date, once again, Thursday, June 29th at 7 p.m. at the Pine Forest Country Club. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.